decorated high school careers of all time, looking to add a McDonald's All-American win to that.
It was 26 years ago. Carlos put up 22 and 11 in a win in the McDonald's game. This game starts with a dunk by Dybantsa.
And a nice find from Cincinnati and Dybantsa. These two guys have been inseparable all week, hanging out together, so they hook up on the first play.
I'm just impressed you didn't say Carlos, because he is so tremendous as a former pro and college player.
Cameron's twin brother Cayden come off the bench for the East. Starting lineup here, Acuff's the #1 point guard in the class, and Ament, the #4 player in the class, and the top undecided player in the country, hits the three.
And keep an eye on him, #10, with the basketball right now, folks. 6'10", with a smooth outside shot. Reminds me of Michael Porter at the same stage.
And you talk about the #4 player, but he's #1 when it comes to skill.
The starters for the West, Michael Brown's the #2 point guard in the class, behind Acuff. Peterson, electric, #2 player, headed to Kansas. And there is Brown all the way to the cup.
There are some players that would challenge that statement you just made. Cameron Boozer, Michael Brown, in terms of skill level.
They should challenge it. However, from what my eyes see, and I've seen a lot of them, when you talk about skill, it's this guy right here, Ament, who, when you talk about his size at 6'10", his ability to shoot the basketball, put it on the floor, make plays, this is the most skilled guy in the class. I didn't say he was the best, but right now, when you look at upside, he probably has the highest ceiling of just about anyone in this game.
I think it's Dybantsa and him in terms of upside in the class. And Darren Peterson is right there.
Agreed.
Ament's down to 5 schools: Arkansas, Duke, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Louisville. He was actually planning to commit today, decided to push it back. Smart call with the portal open. Let's see where he fits.
Very intelligent decision by Ament to also recognize, and that's one of the things, many decisions today are not made about the fit. Nate is ahead of the curve. He's recognizing where it's the best situation for him to go in and have immediate success.
Cincinnati's the top big in the class. Of course, a modern big, so skilled, and he hits over Reibe, the 7-footer.
And Reibe is a 7-footer. You just said it, Ted. That was a tough shot to make by Cincinnati. Headed to Houston to play for Kelvin Sampson.
Reibe on the drive, going to UConn, blocked by Cincinnati, but a foul.
Cincinnati catching the basketball, showing his ability to go off the bounce, but also the turnaround. And he is elitely skilled on the offensive end. However, he made it clear to me today, said every rebound was his. I asked him, I said, you want me to use that on air? He said, every rebound is mine. I can tell you right now, if there's anyone who can respect that and love that, it's Kelvin Sampson, because he appreciates the rebounding more than anything.
Well, the best rebounder in this game is Cameron Boozer. That guy's been a double-double his whole life. And if Cincinnati can rebound like that or near that, Kelvin Sampson, you're right, Corey, he'll be really happy. Seeking his first national championship. How cool is that? All the coaches in the Final Four with their first opportunity to win a national chip.
And here he'll have 2 McDonald's All-Americans on the floor. Harwell will come off the bench for the East. Along offensive board to Braylon Mullins. And Cam Boozer comes up short. Dybantsa's pass intercepted by Mullins. The no-look to Ament. Boozer with a bump. And he picks up the trash.
I tell you what, I got to give Michael Brown a lot of props. So I believe in my time of doing the McDonald's All-American game, I think that's the first time I've seen someone try to take a charge. Give Michael a lot of credit for stepping in front of Boozer.
D. Alexander took 2 charges in the girls' game earlier tonight.
We're keeping that stat.
Yeah, Paul's on it.
I'm on it. I'll take care of all the charges in this game.
You might have taken care of just the one. I don't know. We'll see another one.
Acuff, the step back, too strong. Reibe, an offensive board. Foul called. And it'll belong to the West. We've had competitive games the last 2 years, not just close games, but ultra competitive. 1-possession games the last 2 years. They haven't felt like all-star games.
And it speaks to the volume of the class. Last year, Cooper Flagg, Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey. led that class. VJ Edgecombe, Trey Johnson, in terms of competitiveness. And you think the year before, Ron Holland, Isaiah Collier, that group played really hard.
You can't forget about DJ Wagner, who showed up big time at the end of that game, as we see AJ Dybantsa get his second bucket of the game, and an elite scorer, the best scorer in the class. And when you consider saying that ahead of Darren Peterson, you're talking about two elite guys that can put the ball in the bucket.
And these three elite guys, Darius Acuff has something to say about the best scorer in the class with Peterson and Dybantsa.
Dybantsa had another pass intercepted. Mullins for three. Maybe the best pure shooter in the class. Couldn't hit. Out of bounds. It'll stay down here with the East.
Check out AJ Dybantsa. Behind the three-point line, gets nice and low. Beautiful body control. Eyes are up. One of the best finishers in the class, in his mid-range game. Outside the paint, inside the arc, is second to none.
And I love the matchup with both AJ and Nate Ament. These two guys connected, played against each other earlier in the season. AJ was able to get the win, but it was a 40 ball for Nate Ament in that matchup.
Acuff trying to lob it to Reibe. Knocked out of bounds by Peterson. Still East ball.
And that's a very underrated part of his game, Darius Acuff. An excellent passer with great vision. Led IMG to a top 10 finish this year.
Boozer late in the shot clock against Caleb Wilson. Duke versus North Carolina here. Again deflected out. 7 to shoot for the East.
You say Duke versus North Carolina. Also Knight Rider versus Knight Rider. Those two guys connected to win a Peach Jam championship this year, which happened to be a full sweep for the Boozer twins. Won at 15, 16, and 17.
Boozer blocked by Wilson, but a foul. Tell you what, weren't they talking some trash when we talked to them on Saturday? Boozer and Wilson can't wait to get to college next year when they'll face off again.
The most fundamentally sound player in the class is Cameron Boozer. How about the dribble, step through, shot fake to create the foul?
But I love most Caleb Wilson actually trying to guard this. You mentioned it, Ted. This is not played like the typical all-star game. We've seen the last 2 years, and the great start here, this one as well, where guys are competing against each other. And we've had conversations with our group of All-Americans time and time again about what NBA scouts want to see from them. And this group has absolutely taken that message and put it on the floor.
Two biggest things I think the scouts want to see beside the talent and athleticism, Corey, is competitiveness, like you mentioned, and basketball IQ.
Acuff too strong. Oh, Sanak and Peterson skying for the board. Sanak came up with it. They'll both be in the Big 12 next year. And Peterson lost it.
With all the talent on the floor, who do you think gets the MVP? This is a tough one in this game.
You're going early?
Yeah, I got to go early.
Okay, I'm going to go being that we have two, correct? We have one from the East, one from the West.
Correct.
Do that. I'm going Boozer and AJ Dybantsa. I'm going with the two guys we highlighted at the start of this game simply because they may be the two most competitive guys. And out of a lot of competitive guys in this game, I think these two guys are at the top, and they want a win more than anything out here.
I'm going to go Darius Acuff, Darren Peterson.
Okay, because you always go with the guards.
I love guards. You're a guard.
I know. And that's why I'm shocked you go with the guards. You wouldn't have picked me.
I might have back then. May not pick you now.
I wouldn't either.
Who was the MVP in '91, Corey?
It was Chris Webber. And I want to say, Chris Webber was with the West, and it was my roommate, Eric Brunson, back then. He's Rick Brunson now, and, of course, his son, of course, coming into the McDonald's All-American game as well in 2015. It happens to be a pretty good player across the bridge.
Brown, too strong. Dybantsa flying in for the offensive board. Sanak already with 3 personal fouls, by the way. Peterson, the follow slam.
Bill Self at Kansas has a stud on the way, and at the right time. Kansas, been good the last 2 years, but they haven't been great. They can build around Darren Peterson.
Reibe missed from long range. Peterson in transition. Knocked out of his hands, but a foul.
Darren Peterson, I asked him, pretty much begged him to be in the.
So Cameron Boozer playing on behalf of the Bain family. Guys, you'll see the blue tags on their shoes.
What a special addition to the game this year, the storied history, and we know how they work in concert with the Ronald McDonald House Charities. This just takes it to another level.
It really does. I was shocked that we didn't see Ronald with one on the boot in the background as he had his shoe in the mix with the players.
It's a pretty big boot, by the way, from Ronald. Alijah Arenas, son of Gilbert Arenas, missed the three. Offensive board, and the flip is good for the West, and Malik Thomas headed to Arkansas along with Darius Acuff.
What a beautiful off-ball cut by Malik Thomas. That's what makes him special. He can play with the ball in his hands or he can play without.
Oh, laser pass from Cayden, and the three ball goes down for Trey. McKenney's headed to Michigan.
So when the East goes to the bench, they get considerably smaller and maybe even more skilled when you consider they bring Cayden Boozer off the bench, a number of guys that can make plays, as well as Trey McKenney the third, who can knock down shots.
Jalen Haralson couldn't knock it down. Rebound controlled by the West, and Nicholas Amenia will join the Boozer twins at Duke, part of that #1 recruiting class. Arenas just reclassified to 2025 in December. Left it short here. By the way, Dad is in the house. Trey McKenney. The back tap. Shon Abaev for three. Give it to him.
And just like that, back-to-back threes for the East going to the bench. To be able to push the lead out to 5, and you see that they've come off the bench with a competitive nature.
Oh, a blur to the rim. Braden Burries, another one of the top uncommitted players on the board.
And you see who's handling the basketball like Jalen Haralson. Talked with Coach Herman Haride about him. I said, hey, Coach, you do realize now he can be a primary ball handler. You've got two on the floor with Haralson and, of course, Cayden Boozer, who attacks the rim.
And it spins in for Cayden Boozer.
Now he can score. As a junior, he won the MVP at the Peach Gym. His brother Cameron was in foul trouble. He took over, had 23 points.
Three-pointer off the mark. Nico Bundalo hammers it home. Get it to Washington.
And good to see Bundalo on the floor. Didn't practice the last couple of days dealing with injury, but great to see him with the opportunity to play here in the McDonald's game.
As athletic as you will find in a big man at 6'11".
Abaev, smooth stroke from the lefty, his second three.
He is a flamethrower.
And Shon Abaev playing with an injured right hand, but he said nothing would keep him out of this game. Of course, he doesn't need it much with that smooth lefty stroke.
Arenas in and out. Here comes the East.
He was the MVP at the Elite 24, had a big night. Scoring the ball, going to play for West Miller now at Cincinnati.
Trey McKenney misfires. Here's Malik Thomas, the Pittsburgh native. Top 10 player in the class, going to Arkansas. Thomas hits, that's a triple.
That was over Malachi Moreno at 7 feet tall, contesting.
Malik, another one of those elite scorers that you have in this game, going to be a dynamic backcourt between you think about he and Acuff together. But how about Cayden Boozer off to a great start? Another big guard for John Shire coming to Duke.
Bundalo trying to follow his own miss, and he does. Boy, the second unit shining here for both teams to close out the first quarter.
Bundalo has great agility for a guy who's 6'11". Vertical athlete, active on the glass, really skilled, just still learning the game.
Thomas with the defense on Abaev, forcing the turnover.
And that's what we're seeing much more of as these games go on. Guys starting to compete even more, picking up full court, half court, putting pressure on defensively as well.
West down 3 late in the first. A dangerous pass. Haralson got a piece of it. It is out of bounds. Still belongs to the West.
That man right there going to Notre Dame next year, Jalen Haralson, just so versatile with defense, playmaking ability, scores inside the arc. Big pickup for Micah Shrewsbury.
And great size, gets after defensively as well.
4-second difference between the clocks. Burries gives it up. Thomas couldn't hit this time. Haralson fouled by Arenas. Yeah, Jalen Haralson is so excited to play alongside the ACC's leading scorer from last year, Marcus Burton. Haralson says he's going to bring just a little bit of everything when he gets to the floor in South Bend.
And what he can do on the defensive end, beside guard, pick and roll, and isolations, he can take it off the glass and go coast to coast. He can score or find his open teammate. The versatility is endless with this young man.
Yeah, can play 1 through 4. Going to be really a utility guy for Micah Shrewsbury to really be able to put anywhere on the floor and be productive in Haralson. But I love his mindset, great IQ. He was actually teammates with Jeremiah Fears with the Indy Heat this past summer. Those two guys were a dynamic backcourt. Of course, Jeremiah Fears decided to reclass up. He would be in this McDonald's game had he not.
Ament, swatted by Moreno at the horn. Malachi Moreno at 6'10", getting up. East by 3. Started their journeys here at the McDonald's All-American Games, just like they do on the boys' side. Ted Emmerich, Corey Alexander, Paul Biancardi, Brooke Weisbrod, our entire crew. 48th annual McDonald's All-American Games here in Brooklyn. East up by 3. Darius Acuff missed the floater. Peterson ahead of the pack for the slam.
And a nice hit ahead by Michael Brown to see Peterson streaking down the floor, and now Tunde Yesufu on the floor for the first time in this one. He will be a difference maker immediately.
He certainly was in the scrimmage, and he won the dunk contest last night. Cam Boozer couldn't finish.
Yeah, great matchup inside between Boozer and Dybantsa.
One of your matchups to watch heading into the game.
And Boozer didn't get the finish against Dybantsa with the length and athleticism right here with the basketball.
Now Dybantsa over Reibe, drawing the foul.
The thing that makes A.J. Dybantsa #1 in the class is his athleticism and skill combined. You see Brown with the outlet pass, Peterson taking off. Michael Brown, Darius Acuff, scoring point guards that can see the floor and make the pass.
Points guards, lead guards, those are the type of guys that everyone needs on their team right now. You can't play 4 and 5. The day of the true point guard, non-shooter, non-scorer is pretty much gone. You've got to have 5 guys on the floor at all times that can go get a bucket.
Remember the conversation around Kansas this year? Worst season in Bill Self's 20-plus years as the head coach. Well, are there really any NBA players on the roster? That question is answered next year with Darren Peterson.
Absolutely. He's got one coming in. Maybe it will happen for about 9 months for the most part, but he will have immediate impact once he steps on campus.
Oh, Cam Boozer all the way to the rack.
You see the footwork of Cam Boozer. That's what makes him special, along with his passing ability.
But I love the way he goes in there and dunks with the left hand, stunting like his daddy used to. That's a Carlos Boozer type move.
Now Dybantsa with the footwork for 2.
Nobody finishes better inside the paint than Dybantsa.
Yeah, has a great knack to be able to play in tight spaces, BB. He can get around defenders with not much room operating in that restricted area.
Or get over them inside the paint.
That's also an option.
I'm telling you, I watched LeBron in high school, and we all saw T-Mac. He has that type of athletic ability.
This looks like Carlos here going with the left hand dunk, jumping off the right foot, and on the other end. You talk about operating in tight spaces. A.J. Dybantsa, the nice Euro, and the finish around Reibe.
What's the next step for A.J. Dybantsa?
Three-point shooting. It's capable, but it's not dependable. And he works on it all the time. He's just got to get it down to the point where he can catch and shoot, be comfortable and confident. And he'll get there. He is a hard-working, humble young man.
Ament fouled at the end of the shot clock. He was working on Tunde Yesufu.
Ament is 6'10". And we talk about all his elite scoring skills. He's an excellent passer, great jump shooter, but he also, Corey, can get into the paint with the back down dribble, score from the elbow. He's got that variety in his game along with the skill.
He really does, and he's only going to get better as he gets stronger. That's the one area of concern right now for Nate Ament, is can he truly handle the punishment of college basketball with a wiry frame right now. But you look at, you know, his scouting report, a jumbo wing. You mentioned it, 6'10", PB, a high release. So it's not just a 6'10", but he shoots well over the top of many defenders trying to contest his shots.
And his dad, Albert, played at Wayne State and is in the Hall of Fame there as a basketball player.
Oh, Dybantsa Dybantsa met by Reibe at the rim. Yesifu takes it away. Clear the runway for Tunde Yesifu.
And Tunde Yesifu coming up with the steal, taking it in, finishing it off, similar to the way he did in the dunk contest last night.
Yesifu topping Dybantsa, Kristanak Jr. and others.
How about Caleb Wilson doing the job defensively?
Brown to Peterson for three. Yes, sir.
He scores so easy, and he reads the game so well.
It was the East that won the scrimmage, and the West took it personally. Right now, off to
and the Knicks at 7 Eastern, then the Pistons and the Thunder. McDonald's All-Americans all around in these two matchups. Coverage with NBA Countdown tipping off at 6:30 Eastern. Mentioned Jalen Brunson earlier, McDonald's All-American from a decade ago.
Darius Garland with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Of course, Cade Cunningham, #1 pick for Detroit. And PB just mentioned SGA, who will be the MVP this year. His Acuff gets another bucket.
Round 2 for Acuff. We are using the college three-point line tonight. Peterson able to wrest control of it. And Peterson misses this time. Boozer on the move. Acuff back to Boozer for the deuce. Oh, Yesifu, home run ball.
How about the save by A.J. Dybantsa to drop it behind his back to Caleb Wilson, keep it in play.
And the rebound by Harwell. Future Houston Cougar. Kristanak Jr. plays for the West. Reibe can hit it from the outside. Missed there.
And he's a skilled big going to play for Danny Hurley at UConn.
Dybantsa passed up the three. Wilson fighting for it. And it'll stay at this end.
Watch Darius Acuff line this jump shot up from Caz Tech to IMG. A Detroit bucket maker. Knows how to create space with the jab step, the crossover dribble. He's got great body balance, and he plays with force.
He's matured so much on and off the floor in the last year at IMG.
He's learned how to respond to adversity much better. And give Sean McAloon a lot of credit for that at IMG.
Kelvin Sampson loved that steal by Harwell. Almost taken away by Yesifu, but it goes in eventually. Off the make. Dybantsa soaring to the top floor.
Well, that's something that Acuff and others have to understand. The shot goes up. Somebody's got to get back. But in transition defense, I know it's an all-star game, but it still matters.
But it was Acuff who got the bucket on the, so it has to be someone else getting back. It can't be Acuff.
Oh, no question.
He's the one putting the 2 on the board.
Brown the wraparound. And Wilson fouled by Boozer. Again, grassroots teammates in the summer. Opponents tonight, and definitely opponents next year when North Carolina faces Duke.
He's had some terrific practices here at the McDonald's All-American game. Making threes, driving the basketball, rebounding in traffic, showing his versatility, back cutting when overplayed. I thought he was outstanding this week.
And Caleb Wilson gives Cameron Boozer a lot of credit for his development over the summer, being able to practice against Boozer every day during the summertime. Also talked about how Cam helped him learn all the plays. Of course, the Knight Riders have been together forever. It seems to be Knight Riders as well as Columbus High School. These guys play together a lot, but bringing in Caleb Wilson really was the thing that took them over the top in winning their 3rd Peach Jam championship.
Wilson, one of the most gregarious players on the floor tonight. He told us, hey, I like to talk. I want to get into broadcasting. Should have him at the table at some point.
Yeah, he was talking about coming to take my job. I don't appreciate that, but he absolutely will be able to in time. I told him to go play in the NBA for a long time. Let me sit here for a little while.
And you see the athleticism by Caleb Wilson coming from the weak side to get that shot. This kid can really get up. He's a pogo stick. He's a quick second jumper. Take a look at those power forwards. Koa Pete injured with a broken hand, but won a state championship at Perry High School.
And that's what Caleb Wilson really did this summer. He embraced being a 4. You know, earlier he wanted to be on the perimeter. He wanted to play with the ball in his hands and dribble and face up. When he went with the Knight Riders, he embraced, by playing alongside Cameron Boozer, what the game was like to be an inside-outside threat. I think that took him to the next level. Probably the reason why he's in your top 5, BB.
Who's ready for that?
He's definitely a power forward. Probably got recruited as a small forward.
Point in time. How did you help get him to love the game of basketball?
Spider-Man. I bought him a Spider-Man hoops, and then he fell in love with it.
So he's a Spider-Man fan, and that helped him get involved in basketball. I'd love to hear it.
Big time.
How do you feel like his performance, how he's doing tonight, leading scorer in the game so far?
I need to rebound a little more, push him.
That sounds great. Like a dad. Get more rebounds. Any other advice as you see him competing against the best players in the country tonight?
Just go out there and have fun. That's all.
Sounds like a good plan to me. Thanks, Pops.
Dybantsa, longtime campus police officer at Boston University, instilling that work ethic in his son.
Yeah, from Brockton, Massachusetts. AJ's mom is in the building, Chelsea. Chelsea and Ace made academics a priority for AJ. He won the Gatorade State Player of the Year in my home state of Massachusetts. So academics was first before basketball for AJ Dybantsa.
Oh, Yesufu fighting inside, left it short. And it'll stick.
West. You mentioned academics being first for AJ. AJ's actually going to graduate from Utah Prep on April 15th. He is going to enroll in BYU for a summer session on April 29th to make sure he gets there early to be able and be eligible to play USA Basketball U19 over the summer. That's how committed he is to USAB, as well as getting his education, and is going to go into finance because he realizes he's going to make a lot of money, Ted, playing this game.
He's going to make a lot of money next year at BYU, and so is Tunde Yesufu.
He's going to make a lot of money. He already is making a lot of money. Let's be honest now.
It's reportedly the largest NIL deal for a college basketball player ever coming his way next season at BYU. Braden Burry's no Hymenia with the follow.
But how about Shon Abaev getting back, not allowing Braden Burry to have the dunk in an all-star game? Normally you allowed that to go, but Abaev coming up with a nice defensive play.
Darius Adams going to UConn, missed the three. Tied up with 3:10 to go in the half. Yeah, you might ask, okay, so why BYU for AJ Dybantsa? He's their first McDonald's All-American in 25 years. Yes, does the NIL deal play a factor? Of course it does, but Kevin Young's NBA background really appealed to Dybantsa and his family. In fact, Kevin Durant, AJ Dybantsa's favorite player, Kevin Young coached him in Phoenix. Yesufu off balance. And the tip in by Nico Bundalo.
Bundalo's been active on the offensive glass. It seems as though every time a shot goes up, he's there trying to find a way to get second chance points.
2-point lead for the West. Abaev off the mark.
Great rebound by Yesufu. A nice look ahead as well. Great find, great hands by Bundalo. These two guys connecting on another bucket.
His favorite player, Yesufu, Anthony Edwards. That's who he wants to be like. That's who he studies.
But the most influential player in his career has been Russell Westbrook. Team, why not?
Yesufu the steal, the hit ahead. Two Burries. Who buries him?
How long have you been working on that one, Ted? Burries or buries?
Just came. What can I say? It's a 10-0 run.
Nice like that.
Oh, Adams traveled. A turnover. Oh, we got foul. So one official says travel, also got a foul. Time around. Pre-game coverage begins at noon Eastern. Ted Emmerich, Paul Biancardi, Corey Alexander. You love the Bees, I know. Boston guys.
Boston Bruins. Another Stanley Cup coming up.
Weisbrod with us as well. Yesufu comes up short on the three. 6-point lead for the West, late first half. Abaev on the move, cut off by Burries. Leaving it for Cayden Boozer. And Yesufu steps in front. Yesufu! Tomahawk for Tunde.
Tunde Yesufu was the last player off the bench for the West, and he may be the most impactful player in this game thus far, truly taking over the second quarter and doing the job defensively, getting a hand in the passing lane, turning defense into offense, PB.
Nobody in this game plays with more energy than Tunde Yesufu. And the energy translates to the defensive end, then the offensive transition game. I've been impressed with his passing in this game.
He's helped the West score the last 12 in a row. Thomas, the scoop, controlled by McKenney, future Michigan Wolverine.
Look at Tunde picking up at half court. Scott Drew's got to love this.
Well, Tunde's played the entire second. You consider the fact that, he was the one guy that did not get in that first quarter. But Coach Broussard, recognizing his impact he's having in this game, is not taking him off the floor since he checked in the game.
40 seconds to play in the half. Burries offline. Throwing ahead. A little too far in front of Adams from Cayden Boozer. It is rare for Cayden Boozer to misfire on a pass.
Very rare. His assist-to-turnover ratio is close to 5-to-1 this year in high school.
I mean, it should be. He's playing with a guy he's got intuition with. I mean, throw it to your brother every time.
Here's the acrobatic finish.
Nice find from Malik Thomas, who can be a playmaker as well. Not just a scorer, and a great cut by Burry. You don't see a lot of good cuts in an all-star game, but we've seen a number here today.
Shot clock turned off. Final seconds. Abaev pulls up and connects. Ament at the horn. Off the mark. So the West up 8 at the break. They close the half on a 14-2 run. Tunde
paying it off, doing the job defensively in the game.
Yeah, Dybantsa, the leading scorer with 9. Bundalo, Acuff, and Boozer all with 8.
One thing about Darius Acuff, 2 assists, no mistakes. Impressive.
Starters back on the floor for the most part for both sides. Dybantsa, the future BYU Cougar, popped out. Wilson on the offensive glass, taken away by the East. West finished the first half on a 14-2 run. By the way, the East has won 4 straight games. I don't know if anyone's paying attention to that. Zay Harwell, pay attention to him. It's a 3-ball.
Yeah, Zay Harwell getting the start in the second half and taking on the role of guarding A.J. Dybantsa on the defensive end. Knocks down the first 3.
And Chris Sinak Jr., his future college teammate at Houston, scores at the other end.
What a class coming in next year for Kelvin Sampson. You can add Kingston Flemings to that mix. A top 30 player in the class.
And how about the versatility of the lineup for Coach Herman Hareed, who starts a smaller lineup, getting Zay Harwell in the lineup, pushing Nate Ament to the 4, and Boozer at the 5. Of course, Reibe started the game, but making adjustments in the McDonald's game for Coach Trey.
No centers right now on the court. A lot of versatile pieces on both ends.
A touch for Sinak against the smaller Acuff, and Sinak converts.
He's got great footwork and touch for a guy who's 6'10", an excellent athlete. He opened the eyes of NBA scouts during practice this week.
Nate Ament's an eye-opener himself.
Showing off that ball handling skill at 6'10", the ability to put the ball on the floor and get to his spot.
When he gets stronger and gets leverage in the game, he's going to be a monster.
Peterson draws the foul.
He really does, Nate. Ament remind me of Michael Porter Jr. at the same stage. Both about 6'10", 2 excellent outside shooters. He may have better handle than Michael Porter at the same stage. Gets a little crafty around the basket. Has some footwork of Jason Tatum at the same stage. You remember Jason, Corey, he had the jab step, the shot fake, the drive. He could finish on the baseline.
Darren Peterson at the line. He says he gets often compared to Devin Booker and Bradley Beal. But, Paul, you said it the other night. You see a lot of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in his game.
I really do. He handles the ball. He's a lead guard, but he scores the ball best. He can make the assist, run a team, be great in pick and rolls. Devin Booker, to me, is a pure shooter. And Peterson is a scorer, not so much a shooter.
Harwell couldn't hit. Ament on the offensive glass. Tip in by Cameron Boozer.
And he'll make that 20 pounds from now, Nate. Ament, number 10.
Nice job by Boozer following it up, not conceding a bucket, and continuing to make plays. And that's the thing about Cameron Boozer. he plays the game the right way. When you consider the ability to not only be able to make the right pass, but then just attacking the offensive glass. How often do you see this in an all-star game? Guys going after it, looking for extra opportunities, second chance points, and the soft touch to wait for it to come off the rim before he touches the basketball.
Well, he's the best rebounder in high school basketball. He'll be one of the best rebounders in college basketball next season. And that's one of his many strengths. I love what Andrew Moran told us, his coach. He said his best skill is winning.
And still 17 years old, turns 18 in July. We saw him when he was a sophomore, Paul. He looked like he was ready to contribute in a college game back then. Acuff missed the layup. Here comes Peterson. Number 2 player in the class headed to Kansas. Wilson, the weak side offensive board. And another crack at it for the West. Sinak for 3.
And that's Chris Sinak talking about every rebound is mine. Another offensive rebound and turns it into 3 second chance points.
But it was that jump shot that opened the eyes of NBA scouts. They saw the athleticism, the finishing ability, but when they watched him shoot it, they got impressed.
Peterson, too strong. Sinak has 7 points in the quarter.
And of course, he's going to learn defense by Kelvin Sampson first.
Harwell sprays it to Acuff, and he trails the 3.
I tell you what, Zay Harwell has been a great addition to the starting unit of the East team in this second half.
Cam Boozer. Soaring over everybody for the follow.
Another one of the guys, Ted, I tried to get in the dunk contest yesterday. Denied my opportunity, but a putback for him, a strong finish.
What a great story about Harwell being out with an ACL for a long time and then coming back strong. Totally healthy now. He had to wait about 16 months to get back on the court, and he looks terrific.
And he said Houston consistently recruited him throughout. They wanted him no matter what. And Cameron Boozer wrecking the rim.
But how about the play by Nate Ament, keeping his head up, finding Boozer ahead, allowing him to be able to get the easy finish.
Watching this game in practices and watching this class for 4 years, Corey, it's a great group of passers.
Like Peterson to Sinak there.
Today's player wants to pound it everywhere and over dribble. These guys understand when somebody's open to give it up.
Acuff, the no look. Harwell got another 3.
That's a beautiful find from Darius Acuff to find Harwell. Knocks out his second 3 of the third quarter. And Harwell being very productive, so productive that Coach Dan Broussard wants a timeout to talk it over as the East.
Number 1 overall pick, whether it be Cooper Flack, whether it be Zion Williamson, he believes Duke is truly the best place for him, and Cayden believes the same.
And I believe that it is for them as well, simply because of the way Duke defends. They switch everything, and you think about Cameron Boozer, Cayden Boozer, both these guys with the ability to switch, with the size to get the job done on the defensive end, the way John Shire loves.
And you think about all the guys that are going to be gone from Duke next season. There's going to be a lot of opportunity for the Boozers.
Swing it. His 3rd triple. He's got all 11 of his points in the quarter. He's tied it up. Dybantsa hangs and banks.
You have to feel good for Zay Harwell.
Acuff pulling up. Dybantsa in transition. Number 1 player in the class. Against Harwell, no. Wilson tried to follow. Cam Boozer cleared.
There was 2 guys in the white uniform that got in each other's way trying to get that offensive putback.
Look at Cam Boozer. A free Trey to the rim, and he draws the foul.
All the years we've been calling this game, it always gets competitive and edgy in the second.
Livingston, Gilbert Arenas is wearing his son Elijah's jersey here tonight. What a moment for him. What a moment for Carlos Boozer as well. Son Noah Clowney as well with the Nets. Plays his games in this building, home of the Nets. Those NBA bloodlines yet again here at the McDonald's All-American Games.
They are standing strong when you consider some of the guys in the building. Also, not pitcher Brandon Miller, who we just had the McDonald's All-American Game. Seems like yesterday, about 3 years ago, in the building. And also Al Harrington, straight from McDonald's to the NBA along the sideline. So there's a lot of royalty in the building here today.
So Carlos' son, Cameron, ties the score at 62. 4:30 to go in the 3rd. And here's Elijah Arenas. far. Nice pass. Cayden Boozer the extra. Oh, Adams over the top. Moreno blocked out of bounds by Bundalo.
But again, you see the passing by this group. Moreno to Boozer, and then he makes the one more. So they make the extra pass to try to get the wide open shot. Outstanding offense.
But give Boozer a lot of credit for the cut. He actually face cut Elijah Arenas, and he knew exactly where to deliver the basketball to Adams as soon as he caught it.
Oh, Yesifu, the defense against Trey McKenney. Yesifu, such a standout in the first half for the West. Just filled up the box score. Got Haralson off his feet. And the loose ball controlled by Adams. Foul called against the West. And Ament. Corey, do you see better passers developing in the high school game now compared to previous years?
You do.
Positions?
You do, because, you know, the game imitates what's at the top. And when you look at the NBA, there's so many great passers in the game now. So this is what these young players watch. And they want to play like the best players in the game that are playmakers. That's the most important position in the game now, is playmaker. Whether you're 7 feet or you're 6 feet, you're a guy that gets buckets for yourself, but also make plays for your teammates.
Moreno giving the East the lead. It's a 16-4 run for the East.
Speaking about playmakers, Corey, in the post, he is a low post threat to score. Gets to his jump hook with his left hand. He's also a passer from the low post. You can play through Malachi Moreno at Kentucky next season.
Just led Great Crossing High School in Kentucky to its first state championship Saturday night at Rupp Arena. The last player on the line. Oh, Ament in transition. Flip it in, plus the foul.
Ament, who is known as a shooter, attacking the rim, able to finish, getting out in transition, and he knows that Haralson's going to reach for the basketball. Does a great job of hiding it, protecting it, taking the contact on the left arm, still been able to finish with the right.
And beside the shooting, he is an excellent passer. He has great passing vision, unselfish to give it up. That's why Duke's class is #1 and a great passing class.
Couldn't give the West the lead, however. Boozer the lob, all mistimed, and whistle blows before Moreno put it in. I believe we've got a foul.
You see the vision of Cayden Boozer, so quick to give it up. As soon as he touches the basketball, he sees the big at the rim.
Kick it. Haralson missed the 3. Offensive rebound, Adams. Moreno back on the block. McKenney reverses it home.
Scores with either hand inside.
Moreno was the star of the scrimmage, and it hadn't practiced or anything. He won a state championship on Saturday and was in the scrimmage, really the MVP of the scrimmage.
Oh, Elijah Arenas, Agent 2.0, perhaps.
Yeah, you talk about his dad, but his mom, Laura, was a hooper also, so the bloodlines run strong with Elijah Arenas.
Look out, Yesifu trying to gather it, and the follow by Bundalo, the West back in front. Yesifu was about to break the rim before he bobbled it. Cayden Boozer.
That's the next step for Cayden Boozer, the ability to shoot it off a pick and roll behind the three-point line.
Arenas headed to USC. Oh, give it to him.
It doesn't take much to get Elijah Arenas started.
Now think about this. He reclassified. He was top 10 in the junior class. He went to the senior class and stayed inside the top 20. That's hard to do.
Nico Bundalo, next level.
How about a game of runs? We watched the East down 8 at the half, run back, and actually take a lead in this game. But the West responds by going to
his son. I am training you like a pro. I am preparing you to play against Wolves.
One of the best second-round picks ever in the NBA draft. Does Alijah get up with Gilbert, or is he doing the drills himself? That guy was a worker, man.
They're both getting up.
If he told me to get up, I would get up.
Arenas again. And Yesifu couldn't finish. And Arenas commits the foul.
When you look at Arenas right now, the versatility is there, but hasn't been polished yet. Hasn't been productive yet. His best basketball is 2 to 3 years down the road. Braden Burry's still ready to make that commitment sometime next week. Arizona, Oregon in the mix.
I think Braden Burry's is more of a combo, PB. You think he's going to be a guy that plays with the ball in his hands more than he will be a shooting guard?
No, I think he's a combo guard, but for positional sake, you got to lean to the side where he's best at right now. And for Burry's right now, it's scoring buckets.
5-point lead for the West. Final 40 seconds of the third. Mundolo got it back, and no, Yesfu didn't cut. It's a steal. And a slam for Jalen Haralson.
Nice find, the kick ahead. Great job defensively by Cayden Boozer coming up with the steal, but of course keeping his eyes up and finding Haralson on the other end for the easy dunk to make it a one-possession game.
Shot clock turned off. Elijah Arenas, watched by Haralson. Got the screen from Bundalo, turn in the corner, and a foul with 2.1.
Every All-Star game, you want a little one-on-one. The crowd was cheering for it, and Arenas delivered.
But a smart play by Elijah Arenas, recognizing the shot at the clock and knowing that you want to get the last shot of the quarter. You don't see a lot of that in the All-Star game. Guys are thinking, I got to get mine when I can. Elijah Arenas with a very intelligent play, allowing the clock to run down before he makes his move to the rim.
Yeah, besides being a gifted group of athletes, they have a business-like approach. They have a high basketball IQ. Today's player just approaches things differently than in the past.
And even more impressive than that, this is a great group of young men. I mean, you're talking about having a chance to talk to these guys, and they were just absolutely delightful to be able to sit down in the room and talk to the guys, and we got a chance to spend time with them.
2.1, oh, a kick, and Arenas sends it into the fifth row at least.
But how about my guy to my right over here ducking? The ball's coming nowhere near him, and he is ducking out of the way.
Just want to make sure I don't mess up my hair. I can't mess up the lettuce, you know?
I'm wondering, like, why are you ducking? What's going on?
Can't mess this up.
Paul did play at Salem State.
Oh, you love this kind of talk right now. All right, you are headed to Duke. As a Boozer, you have the family name, the family legend, and you'll be playing with your brother next year. What has been the most fun part about playing with him in this game?
I think just sharing the court with him against other great players. You know, you always want to compete as a competitor, and being able to see my brother shine and being able to shine together is an amazing feeling.
All right, what's the key to getting a win here for the East? You guys are within 2.
Defending open looks.
Let's go.
Thank you.
So Zay Harwell just knocked another one down. He's got all 13 of his points in the second half. Count that, and the foul. Michael Brown Jr.
The response by Michael Brown after Zay Harwell gets the bucket on one end, attacking the rim, challenging Mullins, and able to finish with the opposite hand, going off glass with the left, opportunity for a three-point play.
Another 5-star recruit that when he gets stronger, he'll be able to play better on the defensive end, Corey, and then take the hit and finish the play at a higher level, going to the ACC to play for Pat Kelsey.
He's going to be called upon early, replacing Chucky Hepburn, a first-team All-ACC performer and ACC Defensive Player of the Year, so stepping right into play.
Dybantsa the deflection. Yeah, Kelsey says he wants to turn Louisville into point guard U. It's a good start following Chucky Hepburn with Michael Brown Jr.
Well, that's the way to win. I mean, if you've got a great point guard, you're always going to have a chance. So I love Coach Kelsey's philosophy, his thought process, and he's done a great job in his first year at Louisville in doing just that.
Harwell has the hot hand for the East. A.J. Dybantsa, #1 player in the class. Wilson lost it. Shon Abaev against Wilson. Taken away, Darren Peterson to the rack.
You got to love the defense by Caleb Wilson to cover Shon Abaev, and then the steal by Peterson. 2 guys that were locked in on the defensive end that time.
You're not going to give AJ his credit. That was AJ Dybantsa coming in there, getting a hand on the basketball, doing a great job in help. as Abaev goes to his right. Look at AJ getting there, knocking the basketball away, getting that to Darren Peterson. It's 3 different guys involved on a defensive effort on that play.
Haralson wants to post up.
Instead, Mullins on the drive. Over Dybantsa, and he finishes.
What a sweet-looking move.
And
Braylon Mullins.
Dybantsa ran him off the three-point line, did a great job defending, but great offense beats good defense each and every time.
You know, he was out for about a couple of months in Indiana with a fractured hairline fracture. Got back on the court, had a great spring.
And Dybantsa gets Mullins at the other end.
Great footwork by AJ on that one. He tried to body Mullins, who stood the test, but then used his finesse to spin around and get a bucket.
Dybantsa has 13 to lead the West. Cam Boozer leading scorer in the game with 14 for the East. Abaev on the drive against Sanak. Wilson the steal. Ahead to Darren Peterson, who is a problem.
The length of the West has been the difference right now defensively. They are long, they're athletic, with great wingspan, and they're in the passing lane and on the basketball, forcing turnovers and creating steals.
AJ Dybantsa wondering how he got the foul on that one, as you see Caleb Wilson with the great pass to lead Darren Peterson into the dunk. DP wanted the and one on that one as he got clipped. But AJ Dybantsa wondering how he got the foul on that. It's got to be a cylinder invasion right there, Ted. That's the only way you can call that on AJ, right?
Well, I don't think we're going to review it. I'm sorry to break that to you.
Don't put your mug in the cylinder.
We had an offensive foul.
Invasion right there, Ted. That's the only way you can call that on AJ, right?
Well, I don't think we're going to review it. I'm sorry to break that to you.
Don't put your mug in the cylinder.
We had an offensive foul on the East. And so West ball, 7:40 to go, up 9. Dybantsa and Peterson remain on the floor. Blake Thomas has joined him along with Arenas and Sanak. Oh, Darren Peterson flying again.
Is that 3 or 4 dunks already in this 4th quarter for Peterson? It seems like every time we look up, he's on the rim.
Mullins stepped out of bounds. A turnover.
Well, the West ran a little bit of a get action. They throw it, went back to get it. Darrell Peterson right to the rack. Big concept in today's game. Corey, I know you do a lot in the NBA, the ability to throw it and go back and get it.
Call it the chase game, PB.
Peterson too strong on the 3. Mullins brings it in for the East. First time that UConn has had 3 McDonald's All-Americans in the same class, including Mullins. Boozer off the mark. Feed Dybantsa against Abaev. And Dybantsa trying to go reverse side. Here comes Cam Boozer. Adams lets it fly. And Haralson wasn't pretty, but he followed.
And that's what he does. He'll clean up the offensive glass. He'll defend, play make. It's going to help Notre Dame a lot next season as a freshman.
Bullseye! Alijah
Alijah was already walking away from that one before it went in. He knew it was good when it left his hands.
I love the defense by the West. They are up in the grill of the East.
Haralson against Peterson. More of that defense. Whistle blows as Adams came up with it.
Elijah Arenas in transition. He lets it go. He's already on his way back down the floor. He knows it's good as soon as it leaves his hands. We saw his dad do that a number of times throughout his career.
3-time All-Star Gilbert Arenas. Cam Boozer throwing it down.
That's Cam Boozer catching it behind the three-point line, taking 2 efficient dribbles to the dunk.
And I'll sound like a broken record, but I'll say we've seen his dad do that a number of times throughout his career. You're talking about.
And tonight it's all about Cameron. 1, 2, 3 dribbles. Great economy of motion right to the basket. The most fundamentally sound player in high school basketball. And fundamentals, they travel everywhere. Home, road, neutral sites.
I laughed when we asked Cam and Cayden Boozer on Saturday. All right, so do you play your dad one-on-one? How did that go? When did dad say enough? They both said they never played dad one-on-one.
They gave their bigger brother, Carmani, all the credit for being the guy they wanted to compete with. Carmani, of course, a baseball player, but the older brother of the Boozers.
Subject of that wonderful E60 story, blood brothers, Cam and Cayden, right out of the womb. They saved their older brother's life, who was born with sickle cell anemia. Mom Cece didn't want to just manage the disease that Carmani had, was looking for a cure, found a doctor who had success with bone marrow transplants from siblings. Cameron and Cayden were not born yet, but through IVF, Cece had twins, and with their help, Carmani now healthy and a college athlete, just like his brothers are about to be.
And Cece couldn't be happier. Talk with her pregame, having Carmani beside her, watching her twin boys play. She's in a great spot, and of course, loving to see her young man have success.
And she was a volleyball player. She was a good athlete. They got all kinds of athletes in the Boozer family. She does the breakfast in the morning for the boys, 6 a.m.
Peterson. Oh, rejected by Cam Boozer. Acuff pulls up for three. And Moreno puts it back in. A timeout for the East. Just past the midway mark of the fourth quarter. 10-point.
McDonald's game. Ted, Corey, Paul, back to you.
SVP, thanks so much. There are multiple NBA scouts who believe there are a handful of potential NBA franchise players in this game here tonight. Talent just off the charts. Darren Peterson, one of those players, once again on the attack. He draws the foul.
Go ahead, Corey.
Darren Peterson, who Mark Spears did a tremendous article on, C.J. McCollum talking about how special this young man is as a basketball player. But when you consider putting together a combo guard, a guy that can play with the ball in his hands or off the basketball, this is exactly what you're looking for in DP. About 6'5", 6'6", strong, can finish at the rim, makes his free throws, and more importantly, can shoot the three ball, and competitive, BB.
When you look at the class, there's about 6 to 8 lottery picks if they stay on the right path when they get to college out of this group. And that's a high number to be in the lottery.
Peterson has 10 in the quarter, 18 in the game to lead all scorers. Cameron Boozer has 16. Ament against Braden Burries. Floater is short. Ament got it back. Acuff with the runner. That's too strong. Acuff got his miss, and he's fouled.
That is toughness. Darius Acuff Jr. You know, he played up his whole life. When he was younger, his dad told me in the 8th grade he played against 9th graders and sophomores. As a freshman, he played against juniors and seniors. He was physically strong enough and mentally tough enough to do it, and it's paid off for him because he is so polished when it comes to toughness.
Of course, Acuff on his way to the SEC to play for John Calipari at Arkansas, and the SEC leads the way when you break down the full ESPN 100, where they're going by conference.
And that's back-to-back years for the SEC to lead in terms of ESPN top 100 talents. But the Big 12 has 6 5-star players coming in next year, the most of any conference.
Headlined by A.J. Dybantsa, 3 and white, #1 player in the class, as well as Darren Peterson, who's going to Kansas. Tunde Yesufu as well on his way to Baylor, and Yesufu knocks it down.
Good payoff, Ted.
You set it up. Cam Boozer trying to establish position. Harwell has been hot all second half.
It absolutely has been. You may want to allow him to make the pass into the post in comparison to allow Harwell to knock down another 3. And speaking of Big 12, he's another guy along with Cincinnati who will be joining the Big 12. So I believe we got all 6 of the guys PB was mentioning earlier.
Boozer, the outlet, stolen by Yesufu. Yesufu, contact, no, Peterson the follow. Foul called. Now, the question is, was it on Boozer there on the initial action? I think that's the case before the dunk by Peterson. Yeah.
Yesufu attacking the rim, unable to get it to go. The foul is earlier on his shot attempt as he'll get to the free throw line. But Darren Peterson getting the cleanup on that one all over the rim once again, but the 2 won't count.
And his ability to get deep into the paint and finish is at a high level. He's got the float game, he's got the jump stop and kick out. And if you back up too much in the pick and roll game, he's going to knock it down behind the arc.
Yesufu from Benin, West Africa. You think of all the success Baylor has had with international players over the years. VJ Edgecombe from the Bahamas just last year in this game. I talked with Yesufu on Saturday. He said at first Mom was not supportive of him playing basketball. Didn't see a future in it. She sees it now.
Yeah, she's willing to rebound for him now. Told him she'll do whatever she can to help him out.
And she's reconsidering.
Under 3 to play, 11-point lead for the West.
I wish moms would listen to their kids more.
I'm not sure that's the right idea. Maybe kids should listen to their moms a little more.
My kids are probably laughing at what I said.
We got Brooke Reibe over here with us. She's got a young fella that she absolutely wants to make sure he listens to her more than she listens to him.
To the shoots, and Knack. Ament with the follow, drops with a foul.
See, guys like Nick Ament, when you don't run a play for him, he understands how to space the floor or attack the glass. See that second effort out of Harvard Westlake? Reminds me of Keith Van Horn, who played for the great Rick Majerus at Utah. Skilled, fundamentally sound, high IQ. A little bit of grit on the defensive end.
McKenney, way too long. Oh, Peterson, could he try to break down Cameron Boozer here? Gave it up.
Nice job by Boozer defending, recognizing Peterson wanted to pull, and is right there to contest that 3.
And a foul on the West, and Ament with 1:59 to go. Timeout. Lucky underdog, Connecticut on the women's side.
And that's who's going to win it. That's who's going to win it on the women's side.
Wrapping up the McDonald's All-American game. Final 2 minutes. Sports Center with SVP on the way. But first, the finish here. See if the East can mount some kind of comeback. Darren Peterson, leading scorer in the game with 18 points. Cam Boozer, double-double, 16 points and 10 rebounds. Just like his dad Carlos put up 26 years ago in this game when he had 22 and 11 in a victory. But Cam Boozer and his team down 14 here. So foul on the West, and Ament at the line for 2.
Well, after these free throws, they need to pick up full court man-to-man, maybe play the foul game right now, or get a quick trap, rotate, see if they can get a steal. They only have 5 team fouls.
Boozer came up with another rebound. Twin brother Cayden, boy, Boozer's on the floor together here, and Ament strokes the 3.
And just as you mentioned, PB, picking up full court, Trey McKenney trying to pressure A.J. Dybantsa. See if you get a turnover, but
Dybantsa rising up. And Cam Boozer rips it down. Look at the outlet.
Pull up, Trey.
Instead, McKenney all the way out to Harwell. Thomas pulls it in for the West, and a foul.
That was a great opportunity for Trey McKenney, a knockdown shooter, to pull up in transition to try to get a quicker shot. especially off of the defensive pressure and the stop going the other direction.
Watch this three-point shot by Ament. His feet are set. He's got good elevation on his jumper. He was shot ready. The preparation was there. The stroke was beautiful. And he is long when you see him in person. He is all of 6'10" with a 7-foot-plus wingspan.
But can handle the basketball like a much smaller guard, which is the reason why I feel as though he's the most skilled guy. When you talk only skill, I think he is at the top of the charts. And there are some very high-skilled guys in this class. But Ament, when he gets the strength to go along with his skill, watch out.
Both teams in the bonus here down the stretch, so the foul leads to 2 shots. McKenney pulls up from the foul line. That doesn't go. Dybantsa the other way. Poked away by McKenney, but a foul. So free throws for the #1 player in the class. As we hit a final minute here in Brooklyn. There are a lot of NBA scouts who would take A.J. Dybantsa over Cooper Flagg if Dybantsa was in the draft this year.
I think it's 50-50 right now when I speak to the NBA scouts. Half of them would take Cooper Flagg. The other half would take A.J. Dybantsa.
I believe that were the case before the season started. Right now, I think it's more 75-25 Cooper Flagg. When you look at what he's done against college competition, and again, and I love A.J., nothing against A.J., but A.J. hasn't done what Cooper has done against college competition. You're talking about the first ever 35-5 game in Duke history in the NCAA tournament. What we have seen Cooper do against greater competition, I believe that's what would convince most GMs and executives that he would be the right person to take today.
Wouldn't you love to have that decision?
No, I don't want that decision. I like having A.J. in the following class. They can both be the #1 pick.
Oh, Arenas with the fade.
It's a good discussion.
Elijah Arenas in double figures with 11. With Dad here in the building, and a foul with 27.4. Elijah Arenas put up 3,000 points in just 3 seasons in high school. Again, reclassified from 2026 to 25 in December. He says, I just felt ready. And he's on his way to USC next year.
And how about Booz over taking a picture of his son Cayden at the free throw line? Again, you look at Gilbert Arenas, Carlos Boozer, just proud dads along the sideline, watching their sons fulfill their dream, and more importantly, their sons' dreams, not theirs.
A.J. Dybantsa, the kid from Brockton, shining tonight in Brooklyn.
One thing about Gilbert and Carlos, as parents, you see them watching the game, cheering on their sons. They're not coaching their sons. They're not yelling at the officials. It's a great lesson for parents that a little obsessive with their kids.
And that does it. Yeah, Carlos, smile on his face, of course. His sons come up short, but what?